Hello and welcome back to the Fiberology Dyeworks YouTube channel. Today we're going to be chatting all about our newest collection, which just launched a couple of weeks ago, inspired by Spirit Island. If you are not familiar with Spirit Island, it is a board game by Eric Roos, and it is published by Greater Than Games. Is the publisher. This is a cooperative board game, which means that you and however many people you're playing with are on the same team, and you play the role of spirits of a island. So you are like, the nature spirits and the water spirits and the spirits of the place. And you are fighting against the invaders or settlers who are trying to come in like Catan style and build towns and cities and settlements and roads and all of these things. And you're basically trying to, drown them, burn them, earthquake them to death. All kinds of things that the land can do to fight back against invaders. It's a super, super fun game. There's tons of expansions available to give you even more options and lots of replayability. It is one of my favorite games. It's one of my husband's favorites. And it has a bonus of being full of absolutely gorgeous art. So when you play the game, each spirit comes with a board that shows all of their abilities, things they can do, ways that they can interact with the game board and with other players and other pieces and things like that. And it also comes with a really beautiful illustration and little narrative about the spirit, who they are, where they come from, and sort of their play style or their personality, if you will. And so all of the colorways in this collection were inspired by the spirits themselves and the artwork that goes along with them. And I'm going to walk you through today the 12 colors that are in the collection and kind of talk a little bit about our bases as well if you are new to us, and sort of where you can expect to see all of this yarn if we're going to see you at any of our fiber shows this year. So I'm going to show you first off 3 bases today for all of our colorways. We have them dyed up on our Squish sock base, which is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 2-ply yarn. So it is a high twist sock base. And the yardage for this yarn is 400 yards per 100 gram skein. And the tonal colors are also available on mini skeins, which are 20 grams and 80 yards each. We also have dyed them up on our Cozy DK, which is a 100% superwash merino wool. This is a 4-ply construction, and this comes in at 246 yards per 100 grams. So it's really like a true DK base, maybe leaning a little bit on the lighter side for a DK yarn. And we also have them all dyed up on our mohair lace yarn. This is a lace weight yarn. It is 72% Super Kid mohair, 28% silk, and these are 50 gram skeins with 459 yards each. So all 12 colors we have already dyed up on these 3 bases, and we're going to be bringing them with us as our featured collection at our spring shows this year. So those shows are going to be the Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at the end of March, the Greencastle Wool Show in April, and the Kentucky Sheep and Wool Festival in May. So this is going to be our featured collection at those 3 shows. We will have all of them available on all of these bases, at least to begin with. It may sell out, obviously, but that's going to be what comes with us. However, they are all available on all of our bases right now in the shop as part of our dyed to order library, and they will remain there all year and indefinitely at this point. We don't have any plans to remove our dyed to order library at this time. So in addition to these 3 bases, we also offer a couple of other bases. We have Cozy Fingering, which is a 100% superwash merino fingering or sock weight yarn. But again, 100% superwash merino. It does not have any nylon in it for your sock knitting needs, but it is a 4-ply yarn if you like that texture better, and it's a little bit lighter weight. It's more of a mid to light fingering compared to our squish sock. The Cozy Fingering has 437 yards per 100 grams. We also have our Cozy Worsted Weight, which is almost exactly the same as our DK in terms of fiber content and structure. It is, again, 100% superwash merino. It is a 4-ply construction, but it is a little bit heavier. It is 218 yards per 100 grams, so it's a true worsted weight yarn. And then we also have a bulky yarn. Our Cozy Bulky is 100% superwash merino. It is a 2-ply construction, and it is a true bulky weight. So it's not a super bulky. It has 108 yards per 100 grams. So those we don't have on. We're not going to be bringing all of these colors on those bases to our shows this spring. We may have them, some of them on worsted, some of them on bulky, and so forth. But you can order all of our yarns, these colors, and all of our other colors on those bases dyed to order. And we're currently at about a 2 to 4 week turnaround time on dyed to order turnaround time. So let's talk about our colorways. So we have 7 variegated yarns and 5 tonal yarns in the Spirit Island collection. So we're going to talk through the variegated yarns first. So first up, we have Starlight Seeks Its Form. This is the game art for this spirit. And this spirit is very unpredictable, very changing. The play style can really vary from player to player and even from game to game. And this yarn looks like this. So this is, again, a variegated yarn. It is a few steps to dye this. It actually starts with a very, very pale blue, teal, almost like a robin's egg blue base, which you do see coming through underneath here. And then we have obviously lots of pink splashes, and then dark blue, purples, and grays blending throughout. And this knits up. I'm working on my swatches right now. I will be sharing those another day. It really knits up quite lovely. It does not knit up quite as dramatic as it looks in the skein. It's actually a little bit subtle in the knit fabric, which I'm pretty excited about. It's a fun variety. So that's the squish sock that I was just showing you. Sorry. This is on our Cozy DK. So on the DK yarn base, you can see you get a little bit more chunkiness to the colors. So kind of larger sections of, again, here's that light teal base, obviously our dark blues and our pinks. They show up a little bit more starkly on the DK. And then on the mohair, they are going to be a little bit more blended. So the mohair is not a superwash yarn. This has not been superwash treated. So it does take the dye a little bit slower, which allows it to blend a little bit more. You get more of a kind of watercolory effect on the mohair. So that is Starlight Seeks Its Form. The next colorway in our variegated lineup is Shroud of Silent Mist. So that's this guy. And this guy is basically mist. He floats around the island. He throws off the invaders. It's very subtle as a play style, and it's a subtle yarn as well. So this is one of our most neutral variegated colorways that we have ever created. So it's obviously a lot of grays. There are big sections of essentially undyed yarn or just very, very pale gray that may have soaked into it. And then we have several different grays in here, and they're at different layers of saturation. So you get a lot of variation in the grays. And there are also sections of green and yellow that come through very, very subtly, very, very pale throughout the yarn. You can see those other colors a little bit more on the DK. So then you can see a little bit of the blues and greens and yellows on that DK base. And again, you see a little bit less blending on the DK and a little bit more blending on the mohair. So that is Shroud of Silent Mist. Next up, we have, sorry, my tonals are on the top of the pile right now. Vengeance as a Burning Plague, which is this charming, poisonous, fiery lizard type spirit. Super fun. And I really enjoyed playing with this color palette for this colorway. It's so bright, it's so fun for February. It brings me a lot of joy to have this in the dye studio. We have a base of yellows and oranges. There are several different tones of yellows and oranges as our base. We have these blue-green splashes that come through, and then of course lots of red and orange speckling. On the DK, again, you'll get more chunkiness in the variation. So this skein has obviously some more blue and green. All of our variegated colors, just the way that I dye yarn, I always recommend that you alternate skeins because they can vary quite a bit from skein to skein, even if they were dyed in the same pan. There's just going to be that variation. But all of the colors will be exact matches. They're just going to vary a lot in the layout on this skein. So again, this was our squish sock and our DK. And on the mohair lace, it looks like this. So with mohair, again, it's that non-superwash, slower absorbing yarn, which is going to cause the speckles to melt a bit more into the yarn. Sorry, that postpartum hair loss is just wild. So you are going to get less of those crisp speckles that you would see on the superwash bases. They're going to be a little more melty on the mohair. So that is Vengeance as a Burning Plague. Next, we have River Surges in Sunlight. And this was the first spirit that I ever played, the first time that we played this game. It's one of the starting spirits, and it's also the first colorway I dyed for this collection. I had a really clear vision in my head for River, and I am so happy with how this came out. There are 9 different layers of dye in this colorway, all different shades of blues and teals and greens and grays. It's just, it really has a lot of dimension to it. So I'll pull it up on the DK and on the mohair here. Okay, this one, because it's kind of more of a watercolor type look, it does look a little more similar on all 3 of the bases. So if that's something that you're thinking about maybe holding either the sock or the DK double with the mohair, it's gonna really, really blend in a watercolor colorway like River. So that is, again, River Surges in Sunlight. Next we have Thunder Speaker. So Thunder Speaker interacts with the island a little bit differently. It does have this sort of more humanoid appearance. And again, we went a little bit neutral, but make it bold, I guess. So I think of it as like a neutral palette reimagined to be a really bold colorway. So it's this lovely creamy base, and then we have swatches of this like brown, leather brown, wine red, something in sort of that mahogany zone, as well as these like green, very like forest green, teal green splashes, and then there are just lightly some golden orange speckling, but again, very lightly. This is primarily a variegated colorway with just a little bit of speckling. There's a lot more speckling in Vengeance as a Burning Plague that you saw a minute ago. So I'll pull it up here for you on the DK. Okay, so again, you can see we've got that variation, just a little bit of light speckles. I think it does blend nicely on the DK. And then on our mohair, again, coming in the most blended or watercolory of our bases. So that is Thunder Speaker. Next up, we have Downpour Drenches the World. So this is a sort of back and forth two-headed bird of sorts. And we had this lovely contrast of the pink and the blue that we leaned into for the colorway. So this skein looks like this. So you can see we have that really, really strong contrast of the pink and the blue. And then we also have this section of undyed, so bare yarn with golden speckles, like a sunshine gold kind of color for that speckling. And you can see those speckles a little bit more, just the way this DK yarn is skeined up. So again, just a little bit of that bare yarn with those golden speckles. And on the mohair, again, it's going to be a little more blendy. Those speckles melt a little bit, but you still have those blue and pink sections that are super, super distinct. Okay, so this is going to be very high contrast, variegated. And again, this is called Downpour Drenches the World. Our last variegated colorway is my favorite. And it is inspired by the spirit called Volcano Looming High. Okay, so this guy is a volcano, right? A mountain made of rock, liquid rock, molten rock, lava, all of that good stuff. Lot of really subtle and high contrast colors in here. And this is what he looks like in yarn. So there are, obviously, you can see we've got grays and browns in here for the earth, but also some of those smoky purples, and then of course, orange and yellow drawing from the lava. So I love this colorway. It's my favorite in the collection. And again, you're gonna get a lot of variation skein to skein. So this would be an example of a skein that has a bit more of the purple and the brighter orange, whereas this has more of that dark blue and brown coming through. So if you are, making multiple skein item, definitely you want to alternate skeins. And then on mohair, I just love the way this glows on the mohair lace. With that silk, with all of these bright and smoky colors, I just think it's just a really great fit for that mohair yarn. So this is Volcano Looming High. So those are all of our variegated colorways. Again, there are 7 variegated. And then we have 5 tonals. And I love the tonal palette that we have for this collection. So I'm gonna just hold all 5 of them up together for a quick second. I just love them. I think that they really play well together. They give you a lot of options for coordinating between themselves with our variegated colors, with other colors that you may have in your stash or in our library. And yeah, there are 5 of them. So first up we have Shifting Memory. So this spirit is called Shifting Memory of Ages. And I was really drawn to these crystals that the spirit is holding in this artwork to create a kind of like a seafoam green, some kind of green or teal. It really blurs that line between green and blue and teal, aqua, and you will have quite a bit of variation within the color. We refer to these as tonals, not solids, because they're not solid. They are still hand dyed, and you are going to get variation in the skeins. And this one has quite a bit of that. You really see a lot of the play between the greener bits, the bluer bits. It's a really multi-dimensional tonal colorway, and I have it on the mohair as well. Again, the mohair is a little more blended. You get a little bit less of that shift, that variation on the mohair compared to the sock and the DK. Next up, we have Fractured Days Split the Sky. So this one is all about time and the endless universe, and you can see we're pulling from like the really dark outer galaxy space places. So we have a lovely deep midnight blue for our Fractured Skies tonal. If you're familiar with our colorway library, our other dark blue color is called Tree Town. It was from our Thailand collection a couple of years ago. So compared to Tree Town, this is more of a true blue. Tree Town had a lot more of purple undertones. It's a little bit warmer. This is definitely cool leaning, and it is really a true midnight blue color. It does not really lean purple. It leans more black, I would say, than purple for the undertones. So that is Fractured Skies. Next, we have Wandering Voice, taken from the spirit of Wandering Voice, Keen's Delirium. So taking inspiration from this whirl of wind. This one reminds me a bit of a banshee. I think about like that, like shrieking voice that could be a scream or it could be wind. And that's sort of what I was thinking about creating this colorway. And this is a gray. This is a mid-toned gray. Very silvery. It's got some purple undertones to it. And again, if you compare this to the other classic gray in our colorway library, which is Glade, also from our Thailand collection, this is definitely deeper. It's more saturated. It's darker, and it has more of those purple undertones. This is more of a mid-tone. The other is a lighter, more true like silver or platinum, and this is more of a purple gray. So I'll show it to you on the DK as well. And then on the mohair, and I personally think you can really see some of that purple undertones in the mohair, in some of those some of those variations in the tonal color on that mohair. You can see that purple undertone coming through. So that is Wandering Voice. Next up, we have the Serpent Slumbering Beneath the Island. And I took our inspiration for this spirit from that bright pink of his eye. And so this is called Eye of the Serpent. And it is pink, y'all. Never thought I would make it pink. This is like a raspberry, berry pink, red, magenta kind of colorway. I am actually making a sweater in this colorway. I'm so excited about it. I just cast on yesterday. So I will have that sample done and hopefully be wearing it at Fiber Expo in March. That is the goal. So we shall see. So here it is on all of the bases. This one, again, all of our tonals are tonals and not solid, but this one does have a little bit less of that variation than some of the other tonals that we've seen in this collection. This is a little bit more subtle in that dimensionality. It's a little bit closer to a solid, but again, you're still gonna have that hand-dyed shifting look to it. And then our last spirit is Lightning's Swift Strike. I don't play this one a lot, but it's my husband's favorite, so I play with it a lot. And it's fun, it's bright, it's exciting. So we have a fun, bright, exciting tonal. This is Swift Strike. Also, my husband's favorite color is orange. So this is definitely a Mr. Fiberology type color. Super bright, great. It's just begging to be like a colorwork pop, I think, in something. Or, you know, an ode to mac and cheese could be fun if that's something that you're into. And again, you'll see some of that variation between the yellow and orange dyes that are blended into this colorway. It's definitely a warm color. It has a lot of those warm, kind of more reddish orange tones underneath, and then the brighter yellowy toned oranges over top. So it's, you know, for a bright in-your-face orange, it does have quite a bit of depth to it. So that is Lightning's Swift Strike. The color is called Swift Strike. The spirit is called Lightning's Swift Strike. And, you know, not that I'm the one that named them or anything, but I get that wrong all the time talking to myself about them. So yeah, that's our Spirit Island collection. We also are offering a lot of sock sets to give you some ideas of how these colors play together. Some of them are really obvious. So like Downpour Drenches the Earth, for example, contains, this is literally Eye of the Serpent and Fractured Skies. So these three, obviously, like they were designed to pair really, really well together. Likewise, Vengeance as a Burning Plague contains Shifting Memories in those blue-green sections. So these also pair really well together. But again, you can bring in the orange. Okay, so these guys go together. Volcano Looming High, obviously you can pair with orange, pull out that lava. You could also tone it down by bringing in Wandering Voice. There's just so many ways to play with these colors together. I'm so happy with how they came out. I think that River looks really good with the gray, looks really good with the blue, looks really good with the seafoam. I mean, you've got just like, look at this palette. I'm so proud of this. I really am. This is a really cohesive collection. When I was working through these colorways and developing them, there's so much source material. There are so many spirits in the game between the base game and all the expansions. There was so much to pull from, and I was really trying to be intentional about which ones I was going to select, and I did this I pulled some of my favorite spirits, right, because I wanted to share them with you. Also some of my favorite artwork. And I was also thinking about which colors could play really well together. And I think when I look at things like this, I feel like I did a really good job. So I'm proud of this. Be proud of yourselves, guys. We're doing that. 2025, be proud of yourself. Tell yourself you did a good job. So yeah, all of these colors, again, are available dyed to order on our website. And we will have these 3 bases, Squish Sock, Cozy DK, and Mohair Lace with us at our spring shows coming up in the next couple of months. We hope to see you there. Bye.